Good afternoon and hello and welcome to everyone. It is so great that you can join us today for our exciting and hopefully first of many collaborations virtually between IFA and the Nglcc. My name is Jonathan Lovitz. I'm the Senior Vice President of the Nglcc. My pronouns are he and him, and I want to welcome our fearless co-pilot as we get started this afternoon, Suzanne Beal with IFA. Suzanne, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
We are so thrilled to welcome some great speakers today, some fantastic members of the business community, leaders from our certification teams, to walk you through just how incredibly valuable being both certified as a diverse business owner and getting your business connected to the exciting world of franchising can be to help grow all of our businesses and all of our economies. To give you a very quick overview of our organization, the Nglcc is the business voice of the LGBT community. We represent about 1.4 million LGBT business owners in the United States and the more than $1.7 trillion that our businesses add to the economy every year. We're represented by a network of affiliates, more than 60 of them across the US and now more than 18 around the world, working entirely on creating economic opportunity and development for the LGBT business community and our allies. And what's so special about that is that LGBTQ people are women, we are people of color, we are veterans, we are immigrants, we are. So working with our community means standing in solidarity with all communities. And we're so grateful to have the IFA as one of those partners who believes in that spirit of solidarity and collaboration with us. So Suzanne, why don't you introduce the IFA and the great work you and your team do?
Thank you, Jonathan. And so great to be with everyone. I know that we've got some of our folks I saw on the chat here. So welcome IFA members too. We're so proud of our partnership with Nglcc. I've been with the association 4 years now. And why I love it so much is we're diverse, just like Nglcc. We're small, we're diverse not only in industry, because we've got over 300 different industries, but also business size. We represent smalls, mediums, and largest publicly traded companies. But then just in terms of demographics, what I love about franchising is that there's a franchise for everybody. I found brands that have the most LGBT owners. I found brands that have the most minority owners. If you like a business, I bet you I can find a franchise for you. So I'm really excited about all the opportunities that we have to partner with Nglcc.
Us too. And you'll get to hear from them throughout the conversation today, but I want to acknowledge some of our team members who are on. Alicia Green and Sean Franklin. Say hello, friends. You'll be hearing from them as we talk about certification and all the ways to leverage that throughout the day. But I wanted you to get to know who's in these boxes chatting with us all today. And as well, we've got Trevor Rackley, one of our fantastic certified BE owners and franchise owners. Welcome, Trevor. Excited to have you be with us this afternoon. And Suzanne, who's here from your great team?
We've got the fabulous Paul Rocchio. He works with me at IFA, and he's the VP of Supplier, the Supplier Council. And then we've got Paul Pickett, who's the CDO of Wild Birds Unlimited, and Mark Jameson, who's also the chief. Mark, you actually just got a huge promotion, so would love for you to introduce yourself.
I am the Chief Support and Development Officer for Propelled Brands, which is the franchisor for Fast Signs and Nerds to Go. Thank you, Suzanne. Excited to be here. Welcome, everybody.
And congrats to you.
Thank you.
Is that everyone?
That's everyone.
I think so. Yeah. All right. Well, then let's get started. I know we're thrilled to hear a lot about today just what is franchising. And I know obviously it has huge intersections with diverse business owners. All of our communities, all of our partner organizations are talking about it. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Suzanne, and your team to talk about this exciting world and just how much opportunity is really there for all of us.
Thank you, Jonathan. And I have a couple of slides in here, but I think, we get so many questions from some of your members about how franchising works and how do you really connect with brands or individual franchisees for some of your services. So I kind of just wanted to talk about the industry or the sector, our makeup. And then I know that we've got some folks that are really interested in your certification program. So
Oh, and you know what, Suzanne, just before you go on, let me just interrupt and to remind everyone, that's such a good point you said about getting questions. Our chat box is open, everyone, as is our Q&A box. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of things that you've never heard before. We may go too fast, too slow. You let us know. We'll make sure we get you all the information. We'll share links to resources. Also, this video is being this conversation is being recorded, so you can share it, go back to anything you've missed, share it with your friends and colleagues, but do communicate with us. This is a two-way street. We want to hear from you and make sure we answer all the questions that you need today. So with that, we look forward to chatting with you. And Suzanne, take it away.
Thanks, Jonathan. Unlike Nglcc, IFA is a national association. So we're located in DC. We represent 1,400 franchise brands, many of which you know, McDonald's, Marriott, Hilton, UPS Store, the service sector. But we also actively represent 733,000 franchisees, the small business owners across the country. There's about 100,000 of those that are active with our association. You actually, as a franchisee, have to join. The brand doesn't give all of the names to us, but you have to proactively join our association. And it's free to do so. So if there's any franchisees listening in, please get activated with us. We also have a really great supplier community that Paul Rocchio will talk to you about a little bit later. But the mission of our association is to promote, protect, and enhance franchising. I want to say 75% of what we do is really around advocacy at the federal and the state level. And I'm sure the same as with Nglcc, most of the last year has really been focused on COVID relief. We've got a pretty robust bipartisan government affairs team, political action committee to go with it. And we do advocacy on franchising specific issues. So, you know, business model issues to make sure we're protecting the business model as a small business model, anything from accounting standards to bottom line issues like tax, et cetera. And when you become a franchise owner, or just a small business owner, you can choose to be a non-franchise business, come up with your own concept that might not be recognized in the public. When you franchise, you're actually licensing a brand to go run and operate in your own community, but it's your business. It's basically a business in a box. You hire your own employees, you're only licensing that brand, like an Orange Theory Fitness. So it will look and feel the same to the consumer, but in all essence, it is your business. We're also really proud of our minority stats. We're 30.8% minority owned. That's about 12% higher than non-franchise businesses. So a really interesting part of our story. Next slide, please. We're also a small business. Not only are the franchisees small, but the brands are small too. I think when people think franchising, they mostly think McDonald's, but 75% of IFA's brands are what we call emerging brands and have less than 200 units. And then they themselves are small. You can see on the slide here that each individual franchisee has typically less than 20 employees. Next slide, please. Here's the stats on the brands too, just showing you how much more you might not realize how much you walk into a franchise in a 24-hour period. They're small units. Take a 24-hour day in your life. I might wake up and I go to an Orange Theory Fitness to work out. I drop my son off at the Goddard School. I grab a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. And then I might stop at Fast Signs to go get some materials printed for my business, and then have lunch at a franchise, and the day at a franchised hotel like a Hilton, Marriott. So you actually could spend a whole day in a franchise and not know it. Next slide, please. And just a little bit more about what's going on with the economy right now, because we represent some of the hardest hit industries like restaurants, hotels, the service sector. You know, we're very resilient. I would say that because we've lost about 1.1 million jobs so far this year, we're actually going to be an accelerator of the economy when it's safe to open up again. And you can look at this 2008 data to show that as franchise employment grows, so will the economy. We're actually way ahead of franchise employment from 2009 through 12. Our employment growth was about 7.2%, whereas the overall general economy was about 1.9%. So we hope that we can be a very great partner with the Biden administration so we can get everybody back to where we need to be. Next slide, please. And our IFA Foundation. I love working with our IFA Foundation. That's our C3 entity that we partner with. It's our research arm. They've got some really great programs, one of which that Paul Pickett and Mark Jameson co-chair. It's our Franchising Pride Council. Very excited about that opportunity for us to network not only with Nglcc, but the broader LGBT community at large. A robust vet fran program, about 7.5% of franchises are owned by veterans. And then also, and we're about to launch the Black Franchise Leadership Council. This is going to be an exciting new vertical for us because we've got so many minorities in franchising. We want to elevate really important discussions right now and bring some thought leaders into these groups so that we can discuss, the nation's most pressing issues. Next slide, please. And with that, I would love to introduce my colleagues. Again, Paul Rocchio is the Vice President of Development and Member Services for IFA, Paul Pickett with Wild Birds Unlimited, and Mark Jameson from Propelled Brands. Take it away, gentlemen.
Wonderful. And again, I want to thank you all for joining us today. And I'd like to also thank Suzanne for including me today, and Nglcc as well. IFA is, like Suzanne mentioned, we're made up of franchisors, franchisees, and suppliers. We currently have over 1,000 franchisor members. So that's like, Wild Birds Unlimited and now Propel Brands. And then we have about 557 supplier members. And then we have thousands of franchisees. But the majority of our dues revenue, just so you all know, comes from the franchisor members, and then secondarily from the supplier members. So I was going to talk a little bit about our supplier membership within IFA, and I work closely with all of our member groups, the franchisors, franchisees, and suppliers. But could you move to the next slide, or maybe I've got access to that right here. Oh, wonderful, thank you. So within IFA, we have our supplier forums. So, folks who provide products or services, or what I like to usually say, if you have a widget that you'd like to, provide to the franchisor or franchisee community as a supplier, you would be joining IFA as a supplier member. And then within IFA, we have the Supplier Forum Advisory Board. I am the liaison to the advisory board and also to the advisory board's executive committee. And these are very active IFA supplier members. Most of them have been involved in IFA for anywhere from 5 to 25 years. And, we have a very strong voice within IFA. So as Suzanne had mentioned, it's kind of like the three-legged stool of franchising, franchisors, franchisees, and suppliers. And we also have suppliers that sit on the IFA board of directors, and the chair of the Supplier Forum Advisory Board also sits on IFA's executive committee and also on the IFA board as well. So I like to think, we, our board and our organization, we are all legs of the stool are well represented, and everybody has a voice within IFA. So, a little bit about our supplier members, usually folks will come to me and because they already have like maybe one client in franchising, and they realize how lucrative and also how many different industries there are in franchising, because franchising really isn't an industry, it's a means of distribution. There happens to be 300 different lines of business that happen to franchise. So when people begin to realize that, it really opens their eyes and opens their doors to realizing that they could provide their product or service that might work well in the restaurant space, depending on what it is, and then open that up to 200 plus other industries, other verticals that happen to use the business format franchise model for expansion and growth. So, people like to do business with supplier members that support their trade association. So, at the end of the day, IFA is really the secondary association for all of our members. Our members all belong to their primary industry groups, whether it's the National Retail Federation, National Restaurant Association, aftermarket auto care. But at the end of the day, if they all franchise, they really do, need to belong to IFA, so they could continually be educated on best practices and on all the important things that we're doing, that Suzanne and Matt Haller and others on the advocacy side are doing to protect franchising at the federal, state, and regulatory side, so our franchisor and franchisee members can continue to grow and thrive through the business format franchise model. So, IFA supplier members, being that we're a membership organization, we cannot directly promote any one of our members. But what I always, tell and discuss with our either incoming onboarding our new supplier members, or even when I'm talking to a prospective supplier member, I let them know that, by joining IFA, we're giving you the key that opens up the door to our members, but it's up to you to use that key to open the door. And me and my colleagues are here to help kind of hold your hand and guide you through that door and educate you on how to best maximize the value of your membership. And, franchising is truly a relationship business. We all like to, say in the franchise, in the franchising community, we call it the franchise family. We all, in pre-pandemic and hopefully soon in post-pandemic, we spend a heck of a lot of time on the road traveling around to all of these, IFA events and other non-IFA events that fall under what I like to refer to as this cottage industry that's been built up around franchising. And we tend to spend more time with the franchise family than we do with our own families back home. And again, it's just I see it happening all the time from my vantage point. Supplier members, you really have to, sometimes the ROI takes 2 years because everybody in the franchising community, they already have their relationship with, their widget provider, if you will. And it takes time to get to know folks. But with that said, if, I always encourage people, you do have to kind of, the first year or two, you have to show your face at everything. And the more you show your face at everything, the more people are going to see you, and they're going to put your face and, in your company together. And it just pays off over time. And the other important thing that I always encourage suppliers to do is to also build strategic alliances with other suppliers. And, for example, Trevor, who you'll be hearing from later, he's a fairly new member of IFA, but he has truly hit the ground running. And he has gotten to know other folks within our supplier membership, which in a sense has actually helped him even with his relationship, even with me and with other folks at IFA. And I just see that happening all the time. So, at the end of the day, our members, you can't really necessarily through IFA directly, pitch or sell your products, but there are ways to, work with, for example, my colleague, Carly, who oversees advertising. There's a number of ways to advertise in our magazine. To, as a supplier member, you're going to have a listing on our website, franchise.org, to help promote your business. There are ways to, again, we're a nonprofit organization, but I like to think our price point is decent. But there are some great opportunities to purchase a supplier e-blast, which is an item that Carly does offer to our supplier members. And these are things that are received by all of our franchisor and franchisee members. And I will say that the e-blasts have been resonating extremely well during the pandemic, with our supplier members, but also with the franchising community in general. And then, of course, we have, electronic newsletters, the IFA Insider and Smart Briefs, and we have a number of digital toolkits, and we also have our Franchise Opportunities Guide, which is, I like to, jokingly refer to it as the yellow pages of franchising, though we list all of our members with the exception of franchisees. We list all of the franchisors and suppliers on the website, but we still print our Franchise Opportunities Guide, and we distribute that at franchise expos, and we provide a copy to all of our members. But we also list all of our supplier members in the guide. So it's used as a desk reference by all of our members when they're, looking for, a new product or service. So, I like to think that that our supplier membership, if you want to do business in the franchise space, or even if you're currently doing business in the franchise space, by joining IFA, it will just help you grow and network, and hopefully at the end of the day, get business out of really the cream of the crop of franchising, IFA members. So really on that note, that is all I wanted to really educate you all on today regarding our supplier membership within IFA and how that benefits the franchising community. And I did provide everybody through the chat my email address. If anybody has any questions about IFA in general, please do reach out to me, and I'd be happy to spend some time with you. So on that note, thank you again for this opportunity, everybody. Really, really appreciate it.
Paul, number 2.
All right. Well, thank you, Suzanne, and thank you, everyone. Obviously, thanks everyone at the Nglcc, and special thanks to Suzanne. My name is Paul Pickett. I'm the Chief Development Officer for a franchisor. So I represent a brand, Wild Birds Unlimited. We are backyard bird feeding retail stores with an omni-channel side to the business too, which came in very handy over the last 10.5 months, to say the very least. But I'm here just to represent, I'm co-founder with my esteemed partner and friend, partner in crime, Mark Jameson from Fast Signs, and actually Propel Brands now, I get to say that. So exciting. Mark and I have been good friends for a long time, and so when the opportunity to really co-chair the Pride Council at the IFA, we were very, very excited and stepped up to the plate. So both of us come from the franchise brand sides. We're the franchisors, and both of us come from from brands. We represent brands that are very committed to embracing diversity. So, I mean, my story, out gay man, but with a brand where it has never mattered, right? It's never been my story. It's never other than just to embrace that story. And it is one of the values of my company, Wild Birds Unlimited, and our stated values that we share with our customers, our franchisees, our internally here, and with all of our suppliers, that we embrace diversity. We serve all. And our mission is we bring people and nature together. We bring all people together with all nature. Doesn't matter if those people are LGBTQ or straight, whether they're brown, whether they're white, whether they are tall or short, it doesn't matter. We embrace everyone. Everyone is welcome here. And I think that's an important thing. And I think that part of just working within this community of people who share that same value is really important, right? People like to do business with people who share values, right? It's all about relationships. And so one of the wonderful thing about franchising is it does have a good franchisor. Most of us are great franchisors. We have an established culture. And so as an individual who wants to start a business, they want best practices, they want brand recognition, but they want to engage in a community that shares similar values with them. And so you can actually find that. And it is, we are very fortunate. And I think because of that openness, we have attracted a very high number of members of the LGBTQ community to become franchisees, because they felt that it was a safe place. They felt that it was a place where they could grow. There would be no glass ceiling associated with their ability to grow and to thrive. And it also is a huge thing with suppliers. We, as a franchisor, we too, very similar, we've got our franchisees as one of the legs of our stool, our support center staff, and our suppliers. Very important relationships that we build and are careful to foster. But we want suppliers who are also embracing that same value system. And it engages our franchisees with those suppliers. And it's just very important. I mean, it's everything from, for me, like, you know, I have legal counsel, Thaggery and Drinker, but my attorney is an important part of my day-to-day business, as is my digital marketing company. But speaking back, just like Brian Schnell, who is our franchise attorney, made it very clear in the beginning, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. He could care less whether I'm gay or straight. And that's the kind of people that allows you to then develop that long-term relationship with them. And it allows our franchisees to manage through that. It really is just this whole shared value system of having people who are focusing on the mission of growing the business, growing the brand promise. And I think that that relationship with franchise brands who open up doors for you guys as suppliers to a whole number of potential customers rather than just one customer can be really, really beneficial. And I mean, it's one of our goals, Mark and I, for the Pride Council, is really to just have that establishment of which brands really want to get involved in this, what brands want to be suppliers, who wants to connect and develop relationships, and make sure that we've got this embracing of diversity in place across the platform of franchising. So there you go. That's my story, Suzanne.
Thank you, Paul.
Hey, Mark, do you have anything you would like to add from your perspective?
I thought, yeah, I mean, first off, it's always hard to follow my good friend, Paul Pickett, who I love dearly, Paul, and our co-chair of the Pride Council. We're excited. Thank you to the Nglcc for sponsoring this, and IFA, and working together. And I'm so excited about where this can go. You know, I mentioned a little bit earlier, Propel Brands as a franchisor of Fast Signs International and Nerds to Go, about 800 locations worldwide. You know, one of my key roles here, aside from Brand Dev, is also our supply chain. And obviously, our first stop when looking for new suppliers is obviously the IFA Supplier Forum, and all about the opportunity to really work with franchisors, with supplier members of the IFA. I know Trevor's on here. Trevor's a partner we're working with, which is awesome at Fast Signs, and hopefully that will continue to expand. But you know, for us, I would just say, if you want to be become a member of the IFA Supplier Forum, and if you really want to work with franchise brands, in our situation, we look for what value we can bring to our franchisees. And that often is pricing or discounts or exclusivity. And that could be products that we use in our locations, or it could be services that we use, like what Trevor does. And so, you know, we obviously, first stop for us to look for any of that is members of the IFA, as we're members. Our CEO, Catherine Monson's actually the chairperson of the International Franchise Association. And so we're obviously big advocates of it, and so excited to have this partnership to attract others. Diversity is very important to us at this company, to me personally as a gay man. We attract vendors and suppliers that are supporter of all diversity. And so just excited. And, you know, look, for us, finding suppliers that bring great value is really, really important to us. And that is across all of our channels, all of our locations. And that starts with communication. It starts with doing what you say you're going to do as a vendor or supplier, and really that ongoing communication. And, you know, talk to people like myself at Franchise Brands once you become an IFA member and say, how do I support you? What can I do to become a better partner, and engage? You know, we work with literally hundreds of suppliers for our brands, and we're continuing to add to that. But we're always looking for what's new and what's different and what value can we bring to the network. As franchisors, it's all about the value we bring to our franchisees. So I think that's it, Paul, from there, or Paul and Paul. And I'll turn it back over to you.
Well said, guys. Thanks for sharing your insights. I think now we'd love to learn more about the certification program. And so we'll kick it back to the Nglcc folks.
Well, thank
Awesome.
you, Suzanne and gentlemen and everyone at IFA. Fantastic work all around. Thanks so much for educating us a little bit more on just how much is available in this space. And you touched on something that's so important, obviously near and dear to our heart as a certification organization, among many other things, is ensuring that our supply chains represent the diversity of the constituencies we serve in the communities where our franchises and small businesses operate. What's something amazing that our America's LGBT Economy report that we put out a few years ago says is LGBT businesses, like most other diverse communities, hire 2 to 3 times more diversity within their own company and outsource for their own supply chain to more diverse owned companies. So communities taking care of communities is what it's all about. And one of the ways to make sure that your company is noticed to be a part of that is getting certified. So I'm going to turn it over to Alicia Green, who's going to overview certification. And I invite Sean Franklin from our engagement, supplier engagement and stakeholder engagement department to join in wherever possible and to have a conversation with Trevor about the certification journey and everything that happens therein. So Alicia, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. As Jonathan stated, my name is Alicia Green and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I'm the director of Nglcc Supplier Diversity. So it is my great pleasure to talk about our certification and the benefits of it. And I'm also excited to have a fellow LGBT BE, LGBT business enterprise, Trevor, who is the CEO and storyteller of corporate filming and franchise filming. So before I introduce him, I would like to go to the next slide and let you know that the best thing about getting certified is that, you know, it opens up a network of opportunities for your business. And what best to start off by giving you a couple of highlights of some of our fellow suppliers. So once you get certified, we'll be able to highlight you as well. And as Ebony stated from 360 Hour Solutions, is that getting certified helped her, you know, because we understand the challenges of LGBT owners, business owners, and we are able to assist with that. And with Javier, he talked about how it opened up doors for him and he was able to obtain important information on how to do business in the United States and opening up doors with franchises. I think this is going to be a great segue to bring Trevor in, as you previously heard that he is a new member of the IFA, and we're so excited to have him here and talk more about the certification and the benefits and how he can help with the franchises.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, IFA has been such an awesome gateway, and working with you guys, man, the event last year back when we could all meet together was awesome. We just got in front of really amazing people, amazing vendors. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting involved with both sides. And yeah, I can answer any questions that you have, but basically our business would not be where it is without the IFA and without what you guys do, because we just get in front of the right people. And keyword, I think Paul said, follow up. And that's the thing, like most deals we land, I'm sure Mark can let you know, it took about 9 months to land Fast Signs. So one email does not cut it. And I'm not saying to call and text somebody each day, but I mean, just follow up. Nobody buys on the first email. So that's the one thing that I always hear in these groups is, oh, I'm not getting in front of the right people. And I always ask them, how many times are you reaching out? So yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you, Trevor. And so, yeah, so what we do is we are the exclusive third party national certification body that for LGBT-owned companies. And our certification is modeled after the National Minority Supplier Development Council and the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, NMSDC and WeBank. And this opportunity is available to anyone, any business owner that owns at least 51% of their business owned and operated. So if you own your franchise, you're the 51% or majority, please, you know, contact us and we can go on and discuss how we can get you certified. If you will move to the next slide. So the certification process, there's a 4-step process. And first is you start your business profile on my.nglcc.org, where you'll put in all your business information. You'll put in your NAICS codes, a description of your business. And that's what our corporate partners will actually see. And that's what my colleague, Sean Franklin, will look at whenever he receives an RFP from a corporate partner. They definitely look at NAICS codes. They definitely look at your annual revenue and other things, that services that you provide. During that process, you will need to upload supporting documents. It depends on your legal structure. If you're an LLC, if you're a corporate, if you're a sole proprietor or franchisee. So just the different documents, and if you want information regarding that, just please contact me and I'll be more than happy to send you that information. But it's anything from articles of organization, articles of incorporation, your status qualifiers, in which status qualifiers can range from 3 letters, reference from friends and family, testifying to the LGBT status, or marriage certificate. We have a plethora of options that you will be able to use as a status qualifier. But the second part is the uploading of documents. The third part is a site visit. And as we all are, coping to this virtual world, we are now doing virtual site visits, which makes it easier on everyone and makes it safe. So we have a virtual site visit just to make sure that whatever was sent in to us, that is stated in that virtual site visit, and that everything is good and you are the owner, you do what you say you do, and everything of that sort. Trevor, it's a pretty simple step. Am I right about that?
Yes, and I remember, I think the last 2 years ago when I went to the first event, I think I emailed your team like 2 weeks before. I'm like, oh, hey, I'd love to know. And your team jumped on it. So yes, it was pretty easy. And thank you guys for all of that help. Yeah.
Great. And the virtual site visit is really nice because it also gives you an opportunity of meeting another supplier maybe, or an affiliate chamber leader, which I want to discuss later on. But after the virtual site visit, it is reviewed by our National Certification Committee members. They'll review it, they'll say you're certified, and then you'll get this wonderful certificate with your certification number. And the certification is good for 2 years. So the next slide. So specifically on franchises.
Yeah, Alicia, I was going to tell you, this is a question that just came in the Q&A box. So right on time. This is great if you could talk to it. Thank you.
Okay, great. So certifying your franchise. We do, we are so excited to certify. We've been certifying franchise. So partnering with the IFA, hopefully we'll get more, as we currently have 23 franchise businesses. So what we do request, again, along with your legal structure information, is the franchise agreement. And what this is going to show us is that you have the managerial control and operational authority of the business. And there are certain things that we kind of, look for, that we consider as restricting control, as in the management decisions cannot be made independently by you, or exclusive ownership of account receivables and or contracts. So it's just different things that we do look at specifically in that agreement that, once you send in your application, again, we'll discuss and go through all of the legalities with you on that. Are there any questions regarding?
I have a question as a panelist. Is there a way for us as franchisors to work directly with you to provide you copies of our franchise agreements? I mean, ours are clearly easily approvable, so that our franchisees would have, like the SBA registry, we're already approved that our franchisees could easily be certified.
Right. So yes, we can definitely look into that. So as the franchisor, you're the owner, correct? And it depends on if the franchisees are LGBT as well.
Correct. Correct. I'm not the owner, so we would not qualify. But our franchise agreement could be provided to you so that you could tell that any of our LGBTQ franchisees would pass the muster on this managerial control and operational authority part of their requirement.
Right. No, that is correct. That'll be perfectly fine. And Paul, I remember speaking with you, I guess maybe like a year ago, trying to get you certified. So I'm glad that you are on this.
I'm an employee, not an owner, so I couldn't make that. So.
But it was a good discussion that we have. And I'm happy to see you on this webinar discussing, the business. So, but are there any other questions regarding certifying your franchise? If not, then we can move to the next slide.
Excellent.
So, as there's so many benefits, again, being a certified LGBTBE, we have over 200 and I believe 50 or 45, 95, 290, is it 295?
Yep.
I believe so. 295 corporate partners. We're getting at that 300 mark that you'll be able to network with. And as Trevor previously stated, you're getting that face-to-face interaction whenever we were able to meet together, but now we're having so many virtual events. All of our corporate partners do attend, and they're interested in hiring LGBT businesses. As we stated, it's from minority-owned, women-owned. Everybody's included in this community. So,
and I would love to just to say something. Sorry, I'm one of the biggest things I loved about your last event was you could get like a 10-minute one-on-one with each of these people. Like you like picked your best 10. And that was so cool. And from that, we actually landed CVS from that meeting. So like that was one of my favorite things. So the next time there is an event, I definitely recommend people go, because that 10 minutes was the best 10 minutes I spent probably all year. So
that's awesome. Yeah, Alicia, Sean, could you talk? You've talked about matchmakers, and there are probably some folks on the line who have never done it before. What are they? And Sean specifically too, what helps people cut through that noise so they get picked as someone by the engagement center or the matchmaker program, so that they are able to have one of those meetings? Because it really can change everything from becoming a name on a spreadsheet to becoming a handshake at the table that launches your business.
Sean, would you like to step in?
Sure. And hello, everyone. Yes, well, the matchmakers that we have several throughout the year. We have our main matchmakers, which is usually held during our conference that happens in August. However, last year, of course, we did not meet face-to-face, so we did do our first virtual one, and it was a great success. Then we also have industry-specific matchmakers or different group types of matchmakers, such as our communities of color or our women-owned only LGBTBEs, et cetera, and also like our lawyers or the legal organization as well. What usually happens a lot, especially with the RFP requests that I receive, and also this also goes in hand with how it helps you getting matched to the right organization or corporations during a matchmaker, is when you're creating that profile that Alicia talked about at the beginning during the certification. There's a set that talks about you put in keywords, and in those keywords, you put everything that you do. I don't care how little it is, you put keywords in there, and also the NAIC codes. Put as many in there that are part of what you do as a firm, because when we're doing our searches, those are the places that we look first. And if your information isn't there, you may not pop on the list to be a part of that particular matchmaker. So just be very detailed when you're creating your profile, so that way we can be able to make sure you're getting matched or also being included in any RFP request. So that's it.
Thanks, Sean. That was great.
Yes, and I also just want to mention that our matchmaker sessions is just the beginning of conversations. So, we don't want people to get their hopes up high that you're going to get the contract that day, but no, it opens up that dialogue, and it's that relationship that you end up building with the corporate partners. So our matchmaker sessions are great. Everybody loves it. And, just get involved. The more you get involved, the more opportunity will be available to you. So on the next slide.
To piggyback on that, yes, don't think that just because you're meeting with those individuals that you're going to get business today. Trevor, you really lucked out, so that was great for you at your matchmaker. It is a beginning process, and it's a lot of networking after that to get to that final stage to where you're signing an agreement with that corporation.
And I'd love to clarify, sorry, it was a 10-minute meeting, but then there was 18 months of follow-up. So that's more clarification is what I meant by that. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I guess, Jonathan, this is where you come in at.
Oh, well, thank you. To build on what both Alicia and Sean were saying, you know, the opportunities that are out there are not just in the private sector, but because of NGLCC's advocacy and in coalition with folks like IFA and many of our partners in the government advocacy space, LGBT people with our certification are now eligible for government contracting, and particularly folks in industries that help tell a story, provide goods and services, IT, legal, all of those professional services are some of the large, and of course construction too, are some of the largest pockets of government spend. And now more and more of them, and hopefully any day now, the entire federal government will soon welcome LGBT business enterprises as certified by us. So just looking at this map, odds are there's a major municipality somewhere near you where we're working to get your business or your franchise included in contracting. And one of the key elements in a lot of government contracting is demonstrating your own supplier diversity commitment. So one of the key ways to win one of these contracts is often to say, not only am I diverse, but my subcontractors, levels 2, 3, and 4 are also diverse, because that all folds up into the spend that these government agencies track. So that's another thing that NGLCC, particularly Alicia and Sean and their department, can help with, is finding folks for teaming to make your business stronger, your franchise grow bigger in a way that you can then leverage those shared capacities to win even bigger work. And I know that's something we're going to continue working with IFA and many of our organizational partners on, is making sure that that spreading of the wealth is all the more available to everyone. And then this is something great. And I know, Trevor, you're a member of your local affiliate. And to anyone listening who's interested in certification, joining your local NGLCC affiliate ensures that your fees are waived. And this is an even easier process and a more cohesive process, because face it, particularly brick and mortar stores, even in COVID, are all about doing business local. And that's really how you develop that footprint that takes you from 1 store to 10 stores quickly. So encouraging you, as this example shows with NGLCC NY, our New York office, get involved. You know, New York alone has 500 members. They do many webinars, many networking events, matchmakers. There's an event that just happened this week on how to leverage your diversity status to help with your PPP loans from the government. All of these things that our businesses need are happening at your fingertips at the national level, and hyper-focused on your needs as a local business through your local affiliate. Trevor, not to put you too much on the spot, but how has that been beneficial for you? I know you've met a lot of potential clients. You've shown off your work in videos that many of the affiliates have used.
Yeah. So actually, so I'm a part of the Long Beach, the LA one, and from that it led to another deal with SoCal Edison as well. And I say that because I wouldn't have that unless I was part of the local group and with you guys. So 100% being a part of the local group, and right now they have monthly like virtual things. It is such a great way to meet new people and just get in front of the right people.
Right.
Well
and I just
said.
also wanted to just state that we have 51 affiliate chambers. So, you know, wherever you are, there's one available. Just again, it's on our nglcc.org. Just go to our affiliate chambers and you will see the different ones that are listed there.
Excellent. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of topics, and we'll certainly make sure in both a wrap out email and a blog post on both the IFA and NGLCC websites, you'll be able to find all the links and resources we've shared here. But this is a chance, while we've got these great experts on the screen here, to ask any further questions, get any clarity, make any connections that we can help with. This is yours, attendees, so let us know what we can do for you. Feel free to use the chat window as well as the Q&A box if you'd like. Well, I see a few folks typing in. So while those are coming in, I'd love to ask the IFA team as a bit of a closing thought, what is the number one thing, issue, concern, Sunday scary that you hear the most from franchise owners? What's the thing that all of them say, oh, I wish I knew this 5 years ago before I began my journey, so that we can help folks avoid some pitfalls?
Well, if I could jump in and
Please.
The one thing I hear all the time from startup and emerging brands is they wished they had joined IFA early on, because they always assume they had to wait until they had 25 units, 50 units, 100 units, but they had wished they had joined early on because it would have saved them so much time and so much money. I mean, I'm sure just like within your organization, people love to give back to the people coming up the ladder behind them. It happens all the time. And yes, there's a lot of competition within franchising, but regardless, franchising is franchising, whether you're, selling bird food or signs, or, flipping hamburgers or trying to fill hotel beds. Franchisors are pretty much all dealing with the same types of issues. So at the end of the day, it's, people learn how to become a franchisor by joining IFA. And I just hear it all the time, over the 20 plus years I've been at IFA. And it's not just, education, but it's also just meeting other people, your peers in the franchising community, but also in the supplier community and the franchisee community as well. So it's
Paul, Mark, any quick thoughts before we close?
I think what I would say that's been really, sorry, Paul.
No, please go ahead.
What I would say that's been really key, to play a little bit off what Paul said, is number one, the relationships that are built, not out of IFA, but together, is so important. Everybody knows we're still in the middle of a pandemic. And what I have been so impressed with is how suppliers have stepped up and vendors have stepped up to really help us get through it. We were lucky both of our brands were essential, as many were. But boy, to have the support of not only the IFA, but the vendors and the suppliers, I think is key. So, as I say to franchisees, the one thing that I wish they would do, maybe not what they ask, is follow the system. And in following the system, use the tools and the resources we bring together, not only from IFA, but from its suppliers, because we work really hard on those relationships. And then I've built some amazing friendships, many of which are on this call. And that too is also a really good part of making this a great community. Mr. Pickett.
Yeah. We're like Chip and Dale. No, you first. No, you first. What I would say, similar to what Marcus said, but it's the, and this is one of the beauties of franchising, is especially for those of us who have been around for a while. And even though new people have building connections with people who've been around for a while, it's never our first rodeo, right? We've been through this stuff before. Our franchisees, our franchise store owners just are so thankful that we've got the tools in place. That when this all came out, I dusted off materials that I had developed during Wild Birds Unlimited, during the recession, during the dot-com bust, during avian flu scare that didn't turn out to be anything, but we were prepped, right? I knew what to do. We had a plan in place that we could just brush off, update, and go. And we have this collaborative community, and that's what we're all talking about all day long, right? Is you have a community. So that,
and really, I mean, IFA and the advocacy part of it for the lending environment we're in today and everything else is just, I can't thank the team at IFA enough.
That's so well said. And Alicia and Sean and Trevor as well, before Suzanne, we come to you for a final word. One of the questions that came in really led to this was about, leveraging that network. So kind of want to toss you the same question. What are you all, through your experience as suppliers and supplier guiders, what's the number one thing you hear, or you wish someone says, I wish I was told, or the best advice that you've heard shared? Trevor, let's actually start with you as the supplier perspective. What's as you got started on this journey, what's the one thing you wish someone would have told you about getting ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I used to do that age-old thing when you'd go to an expo, you just pick up a bunch of business cards and then try and cold email them, and that just didn't work. So the thing I wish I would have known years ago is I'd rather have 10 quality conversations than 100 cold emails that they haven't heard from me. So I think that's what I'd recommend to people when you go to shows and things like that. And with the IFA, you just have to go. Like, you will not advance in the franchising space if you just sit at home all day. Like, you have to be in front of the right people. You have to just get out there. So for the first 2 years, we walked the floor. And then the past 2 years, we now have a booth, and we have found so much business because we just learned, listened, and we now have a booth. So that would be my one thing, is you have to be where the people that you want to work with are.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, Alicia.
Go ahead, Alicia.
Fight it
Okay.
out.
Oh, no, great. And Trevor, you just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, definitely focus on like 5 businesses that you want to work with. Don't try to talk to 100 of them, but make sure that you have your capability statement. You know your business. You're the person that knows it better than anyone else. And just be ready and to step front with those 5 businesses that you want to work with. I also wanted to, just be prepared with your capability statement. Know what you do, and definitely update your profile. Put in those next codes and get involved. That's the thing. Get involved. Get involved. We are here to assist you. We want to help you. We want to see you prosper. So just get involved. If you want to do a webinar, we have a plethora of events. If you want to do a webinar, let us know. If you want, whatever you need to get involved, just let us know. We'll do our best to assist you and get your name out there and market you. Like I said, we started off with 2 BE highlights. You can become a highlight. It goes on our social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. So just join us. I put my email in the chat, so feel free to just email me and we'll be here to assist you.
Well said. Sean?
And Alicia, you've jumped in on what I was going to say, and I'll just add to what she said. Get involved. Get involved with your if you're a member of your local chamber. Go to those networking events, or now virtual events that they have. You want to, if you know where there's going to be some corporate partners, get to know them. People, and it's an ongoing basis. So sometimes it takes 2 to 4 times before somebody meets you, sees you, and then gets to know who you are. And you just kind of take that relationship and continue to build on it. Because in the long run, people like to do business with people they like. So just make that connection with them, and it'll take you very far in the process.
Perfectly said. And I couldn't agree more. We say this all the time, particularly at the NGLCC conference, which we hope and pray we'll see you all at this year in person, if not absolutely on our screens. But you don't get what you don't ask for. If you need a mentor, great. Welcome to our mentorship program. If Trevor said, I can teach a great class on how to do, leverage video storytelling. By the way, it happened to be a great showcase for Trevor's company, and corporate partners said, hey, who's the video guy who taught the webinar? So help us help you. And I know that's one of the key things that IFA does so well. So with that, I'll turn it to Suzanne to close us out here.
Thanks, Jonathan. I'm just so grateful and excited about this partnership. Franchising is a model for good, and you can use it as a tool for growth, but also corporate social responsibility. And I think, combined with your certification program, we can really make some powerful progress here for the community. So thank you again for your strong partnership, and feel free to contact any of us for any more questions.
Well, thank you. And from all of us at IFA and the NGLCC and across all of our networks, thanks for spending time with us today on today's webinar. We'll make sure these resources are available online for you. And remember, you can reach out to both of our organizations anytime via our emails and websites, which we will have on our blog links to these conversations. And just remember, we're here for you. So thank you again. Have a great afternoon. Stay safe, wear your mask, and we'll see you real soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Guys.